Salutations, soldiers! Spiralknights just received a quality of life update along with some huge behind the scenes changes to help modernize the game.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm!
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
One of the major issues with Spiralknights development is that it's on some outdated, hard to work with systems, such as the core game being on 32-bit Java, rather than the more modern, well, I can't even really say modern since it's been out for so long, but 64-bit Java. Let alone the fact that the game is on Java 6 and support for Java 6 stopped in 2013, which was 12 years ago, fuck me. In the announcement post, they're pretty vague and mentioned behind the scenes changes to help lay the foundation for modernization, but the community was able to dredge up some more details. There's an aim to update the game to a more recent 64-bit Java version, and support for FBX models and animations have been added in today's update. If you're like me and you're confused as to what that is, it's essentially a more modern 3D model format. In theory, it makes it easier to develop new content. They can basically hire an artist without knowledge of the existing tools, and that artist can do everything in Blender and then port that into the game. There's already some fresh reskin content made, with color variations for items that didn't used to have these, new eye shapes, and new boxes for release. While this is nice for those of us who make costumes, let's be real, at the end of the day it's all cash grab cosmetic stuff, so let's skip into the actual content. Probably the biggest thing that was added in this update was the ability to teleport through chat commands. You might think to yourself, that's neat, but not really transformative. Well, things do get a bit more interesting. In terms of use cases, the most valuable thing you can do now is quickly teleport away to the ready room, which happens to have no load-in time. This lets you leave a mission and rejoin almost immediately, especially with the handy command /join knight. With those two superpowers, you can now skip around missions, the most notable of which can be done in depth 25 of Vanaduke, where you can skip from one side to the other, missing no time in your farming. Other than that, teleporting around is just a bit of fun and a nice quality of life change. Just type /help go in game to see the list of teleportation commands. You can also shorten any command to the minimum length required to be different to other commands, so for example, /join knight can just be /joi. But that's not what's interesting about this update. These teleportation mechanics were actually implemented a long time ago by some community modders. From what I've heard, the code has been quite literally copied from the teleport mod made in our community and pasted into this official update. But even if that's not true, the concept and execution was proven by the community and has been replicated. This means that potentially in the future, we may be seeing some other community mods get implemented. Hopefully things like auto advance, which cuts out the prize wheel animation and advance button after clearing floors, but also things like tick rate mods, buffer issues, and memory leak mods. To be honest, most community code mod changes in this game are just trying to get the game to run smoothly, and if these can be put into the vanilla game, that would be incredible. Lastly, a more controversial change was the adjustments to heart pendants, with the 5-star version getting downgraded to 4-star and losing 1 pip of HP. However, the True Love Locket dropped by Love Puppy Turrets remains at 5-star and with 6 HP, increasing their value immensely. The community reaction I've seen is pretty upset with these changes, especially for lockdown players, where a loss of 2 HP is actually very impactful. You essentially die to 1 sword swing less, which makes a huge difference in PvP. Anyone rocking double True Love Lockets is going to have a big advantage, which means the cost into good PvP gear is just going to increase and it's already expensive as is. But I'll be real, most people don't play Lockdown already, and in terms of PvE, well, losing 2 hit points really doesn't impact much, since Spiralknights has percentage-based damage. I'm actually a big fan of this change, because what this now means is that the casual players who stumble on a rare drop can actually sell the locket for a substantial price, meaning that they can spend that money on better gear or costumes and further invest into the game. It adds an aspect of rarity hunting and motivation for continued endgame play while not being overly impactful. Rest in peace, love puppies. That's all for this update. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I hope to see you guys in game when some of the new content arrives. Looks like this game isn't dying just yet.